Evening, it's not alright.
No, it's not working.
You first take your prasad and afterwards I do it.
Okay.
No, what happened?
It's not working.
Maybe you can make it.
केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यं तेऽहं नित्यं प्रबलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanastalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Dhyanamoolam Gurumurti Bhujayamulam Gurupadam Mantramulam Guruvakam Mokshamulam Gurukripa Om Namah Shivaya Satchidanandamurtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaye Jnanambaya Tejase Jnanambaya Tejase. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram 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 Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai retreats starts from today. Today also is the annual anniversary day of our Guru Maharaj, Swami Vishnu Tirth. So it is a most significant and important day for our tradition. So I must speak something about Swamiji Maharaj. He was born in 1888 in Haryana state of India. He got his education in Haryana and different places of Maharashtra. He studied up to MA. He passed his law degree. He practiced law, and at the age of 45, he gave up everything. He got initiation from Yogaranji Maharaj. So when he was living somewhere in the state of Maharashtra, he went to Mahatma Ji. So he was talking with him, and he requested for some wisdom. So that Mahatma asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I am studying in BA." "What are your subjects?" He told the subjects. So he said, "No Sanskrit." "No, I haven't studied Sanskrit. I haven't studied even Hindi. I got my education through Urdu medium." So then that Mahatma said, "You learn Sanskrit. In future, you will have need of Sanskrit. So you study Sanskrit." Then that was his final year of BA. So he started studying Sanskrit, and he passed his BA with Sanskrit. He got his education up to MA English, and then he practiced law at Ghaziabad of Uttar Pradesh, UP state of India. So when he was studying in his high school, he got one experience. He was sleeping on the terrace, and he saw that a very, very bright light in the sky. And it came towards him, and he entered his body. He started trembling, crying, perspiration. This sort of experience started to him. Next day when he started his meditation, the same experiences again started. He left his meditation. Next day again when he started his meditation, those experiences again started. So he left his meditation. It is correct that throughout his life, he was doing something about spirituality. He was reciting, he was doing some worship, he was doing some japa, repetition of any particular mantra of God. He was doing something along with his work and his family responsibilities. But he had no guru. Then by and by, one day he was staying with someone's house. So housekeeper was out and he was alone at the house. he was cooking for himself. So he was cooking khichdi. Khichdi means rice and beans together. So what to do? He was also practicing Hatha Yoga. So he sat in yogic posture by the side of the stove and started doing meditation. For hours together he was sitting in meditation. Whole of the khichdi was burnt. And when he got up, he couldn't move. He became afraid of. Then he thought in his mind that without Guru it is impossible to get advanced in spiritualism. Then he started searching for a proper Guru. And he came across with Yoganandaji Maharaj. And he got initiation from him. When he got initiation from him, all his afraid, all his superstitions, everything was gone. He had so violent kriyas of perspiration, of jumping, crying, trembling, that he used to say that I have seen so many disciples. I have seen disciples of other gurus also, but I haven't seen such violent kriyas which I had after my initiation. So after that he started roaming about from one place to another. He did pilgrimage to Badrinath, Kedarnath in the Himalayas. And finally, according to the instructions of his Guru, Yoganandaji Maharaj, he moved to the south and came to Madhya Pradesh, MP, round about Devas, where this ashram is situated. And he established one ashram at Devas. And after that he was living there. So he got his sannyas initiation from Swami Shankar Purushottam Tirth Maharaj of Varanasi. This is not very detailed. It is some glimpses of his life. So now I will talk something about him. I will speak in Hindi and it will be translated to you in English by Daud Bhai. Because it is somewhat comfortable for me to speak in Hindi. I was also in search of my Guru. Before that, I didn't think need of any Guru. I was rather against of having any Guru. Whenever I used to say something about Guru, I always said, what is the necessity of Guru? What does Guru do? You have to get forward with your own effort. So there is no necessity of Guru. There was someone, a Sikh saint. He was coming to very on and off. And he said that this boy is good, but he needs some Guru. Then I realized the necessity of Guru. And I started searching for the Guru. And afterward, I reached Devas and got initiation from him. So when I reached Devas, in the beginning I was trying to find faults in my Guru. Because I have my previous impressions. My previous impressions were such. So I was trying to find faults in my Guru. But I find that every time I started finding faults in my Guru, the faith in my Guru was increased, because those faults were not there in him. He was such a great man that I haven't come across any such other saints. There are so many saints in India and here in America, but most of the saints are intellectuals. They don't have the realization. They don't have the practical experience. They can talk about Vedanta intellectually. But my Guruji, Swami Vishnutirth Ji Maharaj, he was not that type of Mahatma. He was a very learned man. He was learned of scriptures as well as he had experience. He had a realization with it. So now I will start speaking in Hindi. And महाराष्ट्र की प्रतिभा सर्वतोमुखी थी.
The Guruji's personality was all inclusive. It was such a powerful personality that it was a very integrated personality.
ऐसा लगता था कि जिस विषय पर भी वो बात करते हैं उस विषय पर उनको पूर्ण अधिकार प्राप्त है.
You will feel like that whatever subject he was speaking on, he has a full mastery over that subject.
जो तारा विज्ञान होता है, तारा विज्ञान के तो वो बहुत बड़े मास्टर थे और इतनी बारीकी से वो तारा विज्ञान को समझाते थे. एस्ट्रोनॉमी के विषय को वो इतनी गंभीरता से समझाते थे कि बड़े बड़े इस विषय के जो स्कॉलर थे वो भी दंग रह जाते थे.
He was a master of astronomy. Whenever he will talk anything on astronomy, he will go in such a detail that you will get wonderstruck. He was very thorough in his knowledge of astronomy.
भौतिक विज्ञान, केमिस्ट्री इत्यादि के ऊपर वो बड़ी बारीकी से बात करते थे.
He was able to talk on all the physical sciences, physics, chemistry, with very subtlety, very deep, in-depth knowledge.
आयुर्वेद के ऊपर वो ऐसे बात करते थे, दवाइयों को तैयार करना, अमुक दवाई अमुक प्रकार से तैयार होती है, अमुक दवाई अमुक प्रकार से तैयार होती है, अमुक बीमारी ऐसी होती है. इतना डिटेल्ड नॉलेज उनको आयुर्वेद का था कि पता नहीं ये नॉलेज उन्होंने कैसे प्राप्त किया.
He was, whenever he was talking about on Ayurveda, that is an old Indian medical science, and that deals with all kind of medicines. And whenever he was talking on that Ayurveda, the old medicine science of India, we will not be able to think how he got such an in-depth knowledge, such a detailed knowledge, where he got it. And that was very.
और ये जो भवन बनाने का जो जिसको कि इंजीनियरिंग कहते हैं, उसका उनको इतना ज्ञान था कि ये मकान बनेगा, इसमें इतनी ईंटें लगेंगी, इसमें इतना चूना लगेगा, इसमें इतनी रेत लगेगी, इसमें इतना सीमेंट होगा, इतना लोहा लगेगा, सारा हिसाब को कैलकुलेट करके ऐसा बदला देते थे और डिज़ाइनिंग ऐसा करते थे, ऐसा लगता था कि जैसे इंजीनियरिंग ही इनका सब्जेक्ट हो।
Apart from the physical sciences, he was very versed, knowledgeable, very versed, in-depth knowledgeable in the science of building construction. If he has to build this building, he will be able to calculate how many blocks of concrete blocks needed, cement, how much sand, how much labor. He will be able to give you the complete, total, detailed cost estimate of construction of any building facility. So that is something apart from all other things he was able to do.
और राजनीति के क्षेत्र में उन्होंने काम किया था। कांग्रेस के अंदर वो वर्कर रहे थे, जेल उन्होंने काटी थी, इसलिए राजनीति तो उनका विषय ही था। राजनीति की बारीकियों को समझना और उनको एक्सप्लेन करना वो बड़े अधिकार से करते थे।
He had a mastery on politics. He was involved in old Indian Congress Party, which led by Mahatma Gandhi, as all of you know. And whenever he was talking on politics, he will explain you with such a subtlety and in detail, so that you will be able to understand thoroughly the complete political topic.
और अध्यात्म तो उनका विषय था ही। अध्यात्म के मार्ग के ऊपर वो चल रहे थे। वेदांत के शास्त्र, भक्ति के शास्त्र, हठ योग के शास्त्र, उनके सब की बारीकियाँ, उनके श्लोक, उनके रेफरेंसेस, उनको सब इतना कुछ याद था, इतना कुछ उन्होंने पढ़ा हुआ था और इतने बारीकी से वो सब बातें समझाते थे कि पता नहीं लगता था कि ये वेदांत के विद्वान हैं या योग के विद्वान हैं या भक्ति मार्ग के विद्वान हैं, ये पता नहीं लगता था। हर सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर वो बड़े आराम से, बड़े डिटेल से समझाया करते थे।
Spirituality was his subject anyway, so he was very well versed in the knowledge of yoga, bhakti yoga, the path of knowledge, the Vedanta, Hatha yoga, and Siddha Mahayoga was his own master subject. He was able to explain you in such a detail all the any aspect of spiritual knowledge, and we will realize that how he is able to remember and quote such a references. He had such a powerful memory, and he can reference from other scriptures to support his argument. So he had a powerful memory also.
और जहाँ तक अध्यात्म के प्रैक्टिकल साइड का प्रश्न है, वहाँ तक वो शक्तिपात मार्ग के अंदर दीक्षित थे। क्रिया शक्ति उनके अंदर जागृत थी, उनके अंदर बड़े वायलेंट रूप में कार्य कर रही थी और उनको कई प्रकार के अनुभव
we talked about the theoretical aspect of the spirituality, but he was master of the practical aspect of spirituality. The divine power was awakened in him, and he had all kind of different violent kriyas and first-hand experience of the Kundalini Mahayoga, and he was able to guide everybody with full mastery on that subject.
After getting initiation, he stayed at Rishikesh for some time, for 3-4 months. And of that period, he wrote his diary. And that diary was available to me anyhow.
After getting the initiation in Rishikesh from his guru, Paramahansa Yoganandaji Maharaj, he stayed there for 4 to 6 months, and he practiced intense sadhana, and he wrote down all his experiences of sadhana in a diary, which was available to our Guruji somehow. And
उसके ऊपर फिर मैंने एक पुस्तक लिखी, उसमें उनकी डायरी को उद्धृत किया, उनकी डायरी को उसके ऊपर वैसे का वैसा ही दे करके और उसकी व्याख्या लिख करके और मैंने लोगों तक उसको पहुँचाया। पर वो पुस्तक जो है वो हिंदी में होने के कारण आप लोगों के उपयोग की नहीं है।
महाराज जी ने वो डायरी जो मिली थी, that diary he got from Rishikesh, he translated in English and in Hindi in a book form with his comments in detail, which is not useful to you people, but those who know Hindi and all Indian disciples can use them.
आगे चल कर के हो सकता है कि उस पुस्तक को हम इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन करवा दें और आप सब लोगों के काम में आ सकें।
It is possible that in future we'll be able to translate that Hindi book so that everyone can take advantage of that marvelous book. I have read it, and if you read it, you will really progress in your sadhana, because experiences are so vivid, and it is first-hand experiences which we also experience in our sadhana. So it gives us real good support.
उसमें हठ योग के ऐसे ऐसे विचित्र अनुभव दिए गए हैं कि वो समझ नहीं आती कि एक आदमी इस प्रकार की क्रियाएं तो कर ही नहीं सकता, वो क्रियाएं ज़रूर ही किसी दिव्य शक्ति की क्रियाएं हो सकती हैं।
वैसे तो हठ योग
इंग्लिश
in that book the experiences are described on Hatha Yoga, and when you read those experiences, it is very hard to comprehend that how could a person can have or perform such a asanas and kriyas, and that must be the power, supernatural divine work of a supernatural divine power.
मैं जब गुरु महाराज के पास आया और मैंने वो डायरी उनकी पढ़ी तो मेरा तो हठ योग का सारा नशा उतर गया।
When I came to Guruji and when I had an opportunity to go through that diary of his experiences, my ego about my knowledge of Hatha Yoga and asanas and kriyas was just evaporated right away, because it was nothing in compared to what Guruji had experienced in his sadhana.
हमारे गुरु महाराज के 3 परम गुरु थे।
Our Guruji had in a lineage there is 3 great gurus.
पहले गुरु थे उनके स्वामी कृष्णानंद जी, जो कि योगानंद जी महाराज के पहले गुरु थे।
First Guruji were Swami Krishnanand ji, who was the teacher of Swami Yoganand ji Maharaj.
दूसरे गुरु थे स्वामी नारायण तीर्थ देव महाराज, जिनकी परंपरा में वो शक्तिपात में दीक्षित थे।
दूसरे गुरु थे, second teacher was Swami Narayan Tirth Dev Ji Maharaj, who is the head of our lineage of our sadhana.
और तीसरे गुरु थे जिनका नाम इस समय मुझे ध्यान से उतर गया है, वो स्वामी शंकर तीर्थ महाराज के संन्यास गुरु थे।
Third
भारती कृष्ण तीर्थ।
Third teacher's name was
भारती कृष्ण तीर्थ।
Swami Bharti Tirtha,
भारती कृष्ण तीर्थ।
Bharti Krishna Tirth, and he was the sannyas.
संन्यास गुरु और स्वामी शंकर पुरुषोत्तम तीर्थ महाराज।
He was the sannyas guru of Swami Shankar Purushottam Maharaj, who gave the sannyas initiation to Swami Vishnu Rishi Ji Maharaj.
Now you see that Swami Krishnanand was a devotee, he was a bhakta, and Swami Narayan Tirth Maharaj was a yogi. And Swami Shankar, Swami Bharati Krishna Tirtha, he was a jnani, he had knowledge. So all these three qualities of devotion, of yoga and knowledge, all these three qualities combined in one person, and that was Swami Vishnu Tirtha Maharaj. He was very learned, he was a great yogi, and he was a great bhakt. He had very many devotion in his heart. His heart was so full of devotion that sometimes we have seen with my own eyes that he was weeping. In the memory of God, he was weeping. And sometime when he was explaining the different subjects to people, at that time he was so knowledgeable man, so learned man. And when he was a yogi, he was doing meditation. So he went so deep, so concentrated that he lost all the outward knowledge and he was concentrated on one subject or nothingness, or his mind stopped altogether. So he was such a great personality that every one of us can take him as our idol. We have to become according to Swami Vishnu Tirtha Maharaj. So I meant to say is that he was very great, no doubt. But it doesn't mean that he had no difficulties in his life. In his very early life, he had so many difficulties. His mind was like mind of us. And he rose from that stage to the very high stage of spirituality. With his constant devotion, his constant meditation, his constant reading through the different scriptures, he gathered all these qualities with great effort. But as you know that your own effort doesn't pay. You are aware of this fact that your own effort doesn't pay. You have to surrender. And unless and until the divine energy is not awakened within you, it becomes very difficult for you to get advanced. To make advance in spirituality, the internal consciousness must be awakened. So long as the internal consciousness is not awakened, it becomes very difficult for you to make advancement in spirituality. And that is why, though he was making his own effort, he was meditating, he was going through scriptures, he was going to different temples, pilgrimage, everything he was doing, but he was not progressing. His mind was altogether restless. He has so many things collected in his mind. Then he went to Yoganandaji Maharaj and he got Shaktipat initiation. And when his internal consciousness became awakened and activated within, then he found that the door of spirituality was opened unto him. He meditated 12 hours a day. You can't imagine. 12 hours a day he meditated. 6 hours in the morning and 6 hours in the evening. For 12 hours he daily meditated. And then he reached that stage. That stage which you cannot think of. So he was saying this fact people don't meditate. People don't surrender to awaken internal consciousness. They have their ego. And ego is the main hindrance in the advancement of spirituality. That is the main difficulty, that people are not very curious about spiritual advancement. They are not very serious about spiritual advancement. He was saying this. So many times people went to him and he was busy in reading some book. He didn't know that anyone has come. He was so deeply concentrated into the book that he didn't know that such and such person has come. And he is standing for the last 10-15 minutes or half an hour, and I have to speak to him or he wants to speak to me. He didn't realize this thing. He was so deeply concentrated into the reading of that scripture. So we can have a lesson from his life. If you want to make progress in spirituality, then you have to be very serious about your meditation and doing good deeds. He was meditating for 12 hours, and rest of the time when he was not meditating, even then he was in spiritual mood. When he was meditating, he was meditating. When he was not meditating, even then he was meditating. So like this, whole the day, all the 24 hours, he was meditating either way. Reading scriptures, chanting, making discourses, listening discourses, meditating. All the day he was busy in his meditation. So I know that you people cannot do it because you have so many other things to do. You have to look after your family, you have to go to your job, and it is very difficult for you to meditate 12 hours a day. It is very, not difficult, but impossible for you to meditate 12 hours a day. But whatever time you have with you, that time you can meditate. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, very easily you can find for meditation. The time you spoil in gossip, going here and there, making unnecessary things, that time can be saved. If you save that time and do meditation and going through books, you will be going up and up. And the rest of the time when you are doing your things in the world, worldly affairs you are attending, at that time also, if you are very serious about meditation, you can be faithful to yourself. If you are not faithful to yourself, you cannot be faithful to your job. To be faithful to your job, it is very necessary that first of all you should be faithful to yourself. And to be faithful to yourself, it is a spiritual outlook. Your spiritual outlook will make you faithful towards yourself. And then whole of your time, whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever you eat, you are taking shower, you are sleeping, you are taking food, everything will be converted into your meditation. Because your outlook will be changed. So it is most important as we see towards the life of our Guruji, that how he lived, how he talked. One day I was sitting in the ashram. There was another brahmachari. At that time I was also brahmachari. So there was one more brahmachari at the ashram. So one sadhu, a renounced person, came to the ashram. So the other brahmachari, he was very adamant about such like people. He didn't want that any such like man should come and stay at the ashram. So he started crying. Oh, these people come and they haven't to do anything, they have only to beg and fill their stomach, that's all. So my Guruji said, if you want to get him out, first of all, you feed him. And after he has taken his food, then you ask him to go. So he has to agree because Guruji was saying. So in the meantime, one man came with about half a mound, about 20 kilos of wheat at his head, and came to my Guruji. My Guruji said, "What is this?" "It is some wheat. It is in your service for the use in the ashram." My Guruji said, "Call that brahmachari. Whatever food he has given to that sadhu, renounced man, that this wheat is here. Take the wheat." So his outlook was so broad. One day, in the morning, I used to accompany him for morning walk. So there was very heavy rains at night. So there was a bridge. It is in the front of the ashram. There was one stream, which was flowing only during rains. Otherwise, it was dry. So there was one bridge. That bridge was ashram's bridge. So in that rain, it fell down. So when we came out for morning walk, and we saw that bridge was broken with the flow of water. So he started very laughing. "Oh, the bridge is gone! Ha 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 ha! The bridge is gone! Ha ha ha! The bridge is gone!" I was new at that time. I didn't know anything. So I thought in my mind, he is a curious man. He is not a Mahatma. He is a curious man. It is something to be pleased or to be sorrow. You have lost your bridge and you are being happy. So I was thinking in my mind that this man is something very curious, and it seems that I have come to the wrong place. But afterwards, all things were cleared in my mind, and I understood that this is the quality of a Mahatma. He doesn't care for anything. What loss is there? What gain is there? He remains all the time balanced mind. This is Mahatma. If you have something against your wish, you become unhappy. If you have everything according to your wish, you become very happy. It is not a Mahatma, these are worldly people. So I came to understand all these things by and by. But at that time, I was, because I was new at that time, so I couldn't understand all these things. So I forgot that Dawat Bhai is sitting by my side and I started speaking in English.
Very good. Yeah,
But anyhow, now when I have started, so I must continue talking in English.
Perfect.
So my Guruji, was very kind to the disciples. Our first Guruji means from where this tradition starts, Swami Narayan Tirth Maharaj. He was very strict, though he was very kind at heart, but he was very strict in his behavior towards his disciples.